There are three sides to a story: my side, your side, and the truth. This doesn't mean that someone is lying, but each one of us has a point of view that we feel strongly about. And there are many factors that affect our perception on things, and I'll get into that in a bit. I have witnessed myself throughout the years, the past 2 years in particular, make a bigger deal out of things that were way smaller than reality. I would react and even sometimes go as far as read something that isn't written in a text message because subconsciously, I set myself up to make it a bigger deal than what it was meant to be. And this is why I would read what I would read, because I had prematurely rehearsed it. Am I nuts? Yani, I'm a woman at the end of the day. Catch me at the wrong time of the month and yeah, I could be nuts. I'm kidding, but this actually is applicable to everyone, man or woman, young or old. We all have our moments, and we all experience things differently. So a big deal to you may be a tiny deal to me, and we are both right. A lot of factors play a role on how we perceive things. From my experience, it's usually triggered by unresolved trauma. So for example, if I react with anger to something, it could be a layer I have been hiding of actual emotions which exist that I'm unaware of. It could be pain or fear. I'll give you a more precise example. When I know I need to be doing something that I'm not actually doing and I get called out on it, 8 out of 10 times I react with anger because I know inni maqassara and it triggers my fear of failure. So I respond with anger to cover it up. So what are the 3 sides here? Well, in this case, there are really 2 sides. I needed to get something done and I didn't. And the ultimate truth is I need to work on my art of procrastination. Every situation has its truth, and if it involves other people, it also involves their point of view. So for example, I could like someone, flirt and give off the vibes that, hey, I'm interested. My side of the story is I showed up and I let that person know in my way, I like you, up your game, ask me out. But the other person could be neutral and would take it I would take it as a sign to try harder. And I would get completely upset when I eventually realized that the feelings weren't mutual. So my side is I showed interest and the other person didn't exactly blow me off. The other person's point of view could be that they were neutral and being polite and didn't want to take things further. And I just wanted to get to know someone and that didn't materialize, and that is the truth. Sometimes things are just black and white without more reasoning. And that's really important, to always call a spade a spade. We tend to blow things out of proportion a lot. I recently had a session with a psychologist and she kept asking me, what is the reality in this and what does that really mean to you? She didn't mean that I was making things up, but past my fear and past my ego, what was there really? What is the truth in the current situation? Not what I wanted and hoped for, but what is actually happening بأرض الواقع. Not the conversations I've had in my head or the fights where I won and got what I wanted, but what is. Ruta, my life coach, she calls a story in our heads and our ego, actually, she gives it a name. She calls hers Superstar. And that concept really resonated with me when I heard Dr. Nicole LePera, the holistic psychologist on Instagram, give her ego a name to help her detach and see things objectively. I connected the dots with my experience. There are parts of me that are very sensitive and I try to protect them by overreacting. And I get sucked into my own drama. So I did the exercise and I gave my ego a name. It helped me see things more broadly, with a more open-minded point of view. I was more open-minded, let's just put it that way. And it helped me detach from the story I was creating in my head and to see things for what they really were. Of course, with a lot of practice, the idea is to be able to observe yourself without reaction. I personally have not reached that stage, but I did develop a habit at work which really helps me deal with clients when I'm being triggered. Whenever I get an email from a client asking me to do something that is out of scope or something that is within work scope and it just happens to trigger me, I physically push myself away from my desk and I come back to the email or text message. Again and again, I read it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, because 9 out of 10 times, my second reaction is way calmer than the first reaction. and things end up going really smoothly. And this is an example of 3 sides of a story. The client wanted something, I took it personally, and the truth is, it's business, not personal. I lost a potential client a few years ago because I was triggered horribly, and I answered bishatara. And the client pretty much told me where I could shove it. I remember that my ears felt hot, and my high horse did not feel so high. Our initial reactions are not always accurate. بس again, had كيسي وكان لازم أتعلم منه. Some people may feel differently, and hey, everyone is right at the end of the day. Narratives of the truth makes us uncomfortable, and a great deal of honesty and maturity are required for us to be objective. ما عم بتفلسف, I don't always have them. بضر بوز كتير, especially when I'm wrong. But these reactions, they're all lessons to teach us where our weakness is and what it means to us. They're actually information. It turns out, I absolutely hate authority figures, and I like to be treated as an equal with all genders. And this isn't a man equal to a woman situation. No, it's me equal to you and everyone else. And as far as authority figures go, I hate being told what to do. You can get me to do something way faster if you explain to me the rationale behind it. So the next time you want to hit the roof at work or at your significant other or a child or a sibling, remember to try to disengage from the situation and just name the situation for what it really is. How you feel, how you think the other person feels, and what is really happening. And you can always go the extra mile and speak to the other person and compare what you thought was happening to what is really happening. And voila, there you go with the truth. Thank you for hanging out with me, and more on sex on drama coming up in the next episode.